Today is the last lesson in Unit 1. We're going to talk about the distributive property and combining like terms. And the notes are going to get kind of physically moved around a lot because some stuff was small. So let's talk distributive property. You also might have called it distribution when you were in middle school. So here's the original problem. 2 times x plus 4. Now, order of operations says you do stuff in the parentheses first, but you cannot add x and 4. They're different things. So what you do is you leave it, okay? Now we're going to multiply everything in the parentheses by the 2. We're distributing the 2 throughout. So it's 2 times the x, see that one, and then 2 times the 4. So 2 times x is 2x. Remember I told you that a few lessons ago. When you write a number by a letter, it means multiply. And 2 times 4 is 8. Now when we mean simplify, that means no equal sign and probably a letter and number. You are not going to say 2x plus 8 equals 10x. That does not work. Simplify tells you, oh, I'm not going to have just one thing left. It's really rare that you do. All right? Now I'm going to make this a bit smaller now that I have gone to the notes. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. There we go. Now, you learned last time what to do when you multiply and divide positive and negative integers. So let's simplify. Simplify, okay? So you have 3 times the c and 3 times the 5. So that's 3 times c plus, because there's a positive sign, 3 times 5. That's 3c plus 15. That's all you can do. You cannot add them together. Now let's look here. 4 times 2 minus x. Nothing we can do with 2 minus x. So it's 4 times 2 minus 4 times x. Let's write it out. 4 times 2 minus, because that's a sign, 4 times x. 8 minus 4x. And that's it. You cannot go further because you cannot put numbers and letters together in an addition or subtraction problem. They don't add together. Okay, now a longer one. But does a longer one mean it's more complicated? No, longer does not mean more complicated. So let's do it. I'm going to draw my lines. I'm going to show what connects. Now it's negative 4 times the 2u, not just the 2, okay? Negative 4 times 5y, and there we go. So I'm going to write it out so you see what we're doing. Negative 4 times 2u, both pieces. Minus, because that's a minus sign there, negative 4 times 5y. Plus, because there's a plus sign, negative 4 times 3. Now you may be asking yourself, why did she put parentheses in there? I don't like to get my signs all mixed up. So if I wrote minus minus or minus and negative, that gets confusing. Or if I write plus and negative, that's confusing. So I scribble that out. And what I do is I put my negative number in the parentheses to separate it. Now let's do the math. Negative 4 times 2u means you multiply the integers. So that is negative 8u. You multiply the integers and the variable comes along for the ride. Minus negative 20y, because negative 4 times 5 is negative 20, plus negative 12. Okay, now we want to get everything all nice and neat. We're still simplifying. Negative 8u stays the same. Minus negative 20 means, remember this one? Plus 20y. And you've got two different signs here. Plus minus 12 means minus 12. And that is my simplified expression. Negative 8u plus 20y minus 12. Let's do one more, okay? If you don't want to draw the arrows showing what goes with what, that's fine. I'm going to continue to do that for a while. Ooh, we've got another lesson to do, another thing to talk about in this one. Okay, what do you see in front of the x? You see a negative sign, right? But how many x's? Well, in algebra, actually in math, we don't write 1x. We just write x. The 1 is implied because if there were 0 x's, it would say 0. And if there are more than one x, it has a different number. So if you don't see a number in front of the variable, it means there's one of them. Alrighty, so this means negative 7 times negative x. And for you, since you're learning, I'm going to put the 1 there to help you remember. That would be negative 1x. Plus, remember the why I put the parentheses, negative 7 times 3b minus negative 7 times 4. Now there's a slightly different way to do it. I'm not going to show it to you. If you do it the other way and you get the same answer, you're doing it right. Negative 7 times negative 1x means 7x because my two negatives, when multiplied together, are positive. Whoops, forgot my parentheses there. Minus 21b minus 28. Is it really? Oh, let's look. Minus a negative, that means plus 28. There we go. And that's simplified. Stop it, look at it, contact me if you're stuck. Let's go to the next page. Alrighty, like terms. Like terms are terms that have the same variable raised to the same power. So it's different groups of them. It's like they're like soda cans. You do not add a Pepsi and a Coke, but you can add a Pepsi and a Diet Pepsi. Here are like terms. They both have an x raised to the first power. They are like. I can add them together. Here, x squared and x squared. I can add them together, even with multiple variables. This is x times y squared, and so is this one. So I can combine them. Combine them is a very mathematical way of saying adding and subtracting them, but combining sounds so much more impressive. Let's combine our like terms. Are these the same? 3c and 5c? Well, they both have a c, so you add them. 3c and 5c is 8c. Because this is like saying c plus c plus c. That's 3 c's. This is c plus c plus c plus c plus c. And then you are adding them. When you count them all up, there are 8 c's. That's what you're doing with your like terms. All right, let's do another one. 8b minus 2b. Okay, they both have b's, so we can do the math. 8b minus 2b is 6b. Hopefully that was so messy. Hopefully a whole lot neater than I just wrote it. Now 2x plus x, that's interesting. Remember what I just said about the number in front of a single x. If you do not see a number, it's like saying 1x. So you actually are going 2 plus 1 is 3. Put the x on the end. Those are like terms. I can do that. Now let's get into some stuff. Negative 4a plus 7a. Now remember, I told you a lesson or two ago on what to do when you are adding or subtracting, however you want to call it, integers with different signs. 7a and negative 4. Well, what's the difference between 7 and 4? And let me give you a hint. You can rewrite it. Don't tell anybody I told you that. You could say 7a minus 4a. Is that a little bit simpler? You can see it's 3a. Or you can say, what's the difference between 7 and 4? It's 3. And the 7 is bigger and it's positive, so it's 3a. I like my way better. Alrighty, let's take a look at number 5. They have the same sign, and they are like terms, but we talked about that. If you are adding or subtracting numbers with the same sign, you add them together and then put the sign in front of them. So 8 plus 5 is 13a. They're both negative, so it's negative 13a. It's a whole lot easier than it looks. Last one, and we're going to do this one there. Negative 12a plus 2. They are both a's. I can do this. Negative 12 plus 2. Well, I've told you different ways, and let me tell you a third way. Put a number line in your head. When you go in the negative direction, you're going to the left. When you're adding a positive, you're going to the right. So if I've got my little number line here, 2, 2, 2, 2. That's negative 12, that's negative 11, negative 10, negative 9, and so on and so forth. I'm going to start at negative 12, and I'm going to the right. 1, 2. My answer is negative 10a. You now actually know 3 different ways to work with negative numbers. They're all the right way. Some of you are more visual and you can use a number line. That might help. Some of you don't need to do that. I frequently use my number line because it's up in my room. Okay, guys, that's the last part you're going to learn. Get this assignment done. You'll have some quizzes and a test soon. Good luck.